Yes! 3 down! Fantastic work! Outstanding! 1. Yes! 3 down! Look at them fall! Finished!
Recently on my channel, I've shown off builds and strategies to combat the current meta in the game. It's a really bizarre season, and I don't think any of us really anticipated the PvP meta that we have today. With Solar 3.0 came a new grenade that heals the user on cast instantly, providing a boost of health that often turns the tide of the fight. We've got a new Solar keyword of Restoration, which found its way into the Solar 3.0 kit, including a wide variety of ways to activate it. And every class was granted access to a new artifact mod called Classy Restoration, which provides the user an instant mega boost of health the moment you activate your class ability. This has led to some pretty frustrating duels where you often feel like you have to kill somebody 3 times in order to actually put them down. It used to be that when I popped someone's shields and they ran behind a box, like I would just push the advantage. You know, I'd go high over the box aggressively to finish them off before their recovery could kick in. But that's not the case now. Today, I lean heavily on my grenade and melee abilities to clean up kills instead of putting myself in a potentially compromising position. Anyway, I pushed these advantages time and time again early in the season, and eventually I learned my lesson. The Crucible is not the same today that it was before this season dropped. With all those healing options on the table, most players are getting health back immediately, and then if I push, I'm now the one that's exposed and vulnerable because I left my cover and I went into no man's land to chase them down and finish them off, or I jumped and now they're boots on the ground with full health ready to go, and I've got a severe in-air accuracy penalty that I have to sort of try to compensate for. So, like I said, in previous videos, I've outlined strategies to deal with these types of players. I approached those videos using a key question as a launching point, and that question was, how do I deal with these opponents quickly? How do I beat them? This video, I did something different. Instead, I changed that launching point question to this. How do I do what they're doing, but better, right? How do I beat them at their own game? And the gameplay in this video was the result of my experimentation. I'll definitely show you my build and aspects and fragments shortly, but first, let me talk about the weapons. I'm predominantly a double primary guy these days. I love using double primary. It just feels comfortable to me. I like pulses and sidearms or scouts and SMGs. It's just a preference thing. I still snipe. I still use shotguns plenty. I still leverage the strengths that special weapons have to offer, but double primary is just comfortable for me. It's like going home. The problem is, with all the healing going on right now, I need something that can eliminate a player in a single big burst of damage to offset that reality. So I'm using my beloved. I didn't use this thing in PvE. I didn't take it to Shuro Chi. Instead, I leveled this sniper rifle up the old-fashioned way in PvP by racking up a little over 400 PvP final blows on this crafted one alone. Right now I've got mine with enhanced snapshot and enhanced moving target. This gameplay shows the process of leveling it up from level 1 with firmly planted rampage all the way up to level 20 plus with enhanced perks fully kitted out. Do you guys remember any OGs from D1 watching this video right now? Do you remember when we actually had to level up our guns oftentimes in PvP in order to get the perks unlocked? Like, you would get a drop in Destiny 1 originally. You'd get a drop, a gun would drop for you, and it'd have, you know, its full perk tree, a number of random perks on it. And in order to actually get those perks, you had to use the gun and get a bunch of kills with it to level up, get enough XP on that gun alone to unlock those perks. The whole crafting process right now, it kind of reminds me of OG Destiny 1, that whole process. And by the time you got those perks, you felt like you had a good handle on the gun. And then when those perks unlocked, it just felt like it got better and it got better. And that's what this whole process feels like to me. The Beloved, now that I have it leveled up, this thing's a monster. You know, maybe I'll break it down in a later video. But the whole purpose of the sniper here is just to be something in my pocket that says, listen, I don't care about your healing. I don't care if you throw a healing grenade. I don't care if you've got Loreley on. I don't care if you do a dodge roll or if you got Worm Husk. If I hit you, you're gonna die. You're going down. That's the whole point of the sniper rifle, is to offset any and all healing that could happen. If I just land my shot, they're toast. In my other slot, I'm using a wide variety of sidearms. I know you're shocked. I know. But honestly, it's not just because I love them. It's also because with sidearms, I'm in that close dueling range where even if they try to break for cover and heal up, I'm going to be all over their butts, just pounding them with the sidearm while they're trying to find an ability in their tool belt, you know, something to get health back, and I'm just going to be relentless. I especially like using my empirical evidence because with the Adagio perk active, it's an easy 2-burst kill. That's a TTK that no healing ability can have a response for in real time. You'll see plenty of those 2-burst kills in the gameplay. Otherwise, you'll see some of the keening as well. Mine has multi-kill clips, so chaining kills is much easier. And you'll see some of the Forgiveness Adept as well. Sidearms are really solid in this meta for reasons I already stated, but also because they're really accurate from the air, relatively speaking, and they're really accurate from the hip. And a lot of people are ducking behind boxes and pieces of cover on the map and behind barricades to get their health back. And the sidearm, it lets you more comfortably take that calculated risk of going high over the cover and putting them down. Now, as you noticed in the opening clip, where I took out 5 enemies in a single ability, including a Shadebinder in his super, a big part of my if you can't beat 'em, join 'em approach is maximizing the potential of the Sunbreaker kit. There are 2 things that I want to focus on. One of those things is the Consecration ability. I've been using this a lot. Most people, they shelved this ability because it was too difficult to pull off. You carry your momentum with the second half of the ability, so most people sail past their targets and they don't hit anything with the second half, and they end up just getting shot in the back easily. They also try to use it in these open field engagements. Enemies will just sidestep it since you can't change your direction on the second part of the ability. But Bungie has shown us that when they design maps, one of their favorite things to do is to make narrow doorways and choke points leading into the most powerful positions on the map, the biggest points of interest. Every map has these choke points. That's where Consecration is supposed to be used. Every now and then, an opportunity will present itself away from those choke points, sure, but if you want the most bang for your buck, use this ability in choke points and on capture points where they're funneled into a smaller gap where it's harder to avoid. And you don't need to tag them all twice. You only need to tag one poor sap twice. You need one guy to get hit both by the uppercut and the way down. 1, 2, even 3 enemies might be smart enough and quick enough to dodge one or both of the melee swings, but as long as you get that one enemy with both, they're all toast. And a quick tip about Consecration, don't hold forward the entire time you're doing the attack. Stop holding the W key, stop holding forward on the thumbsticks as soon as you start that uppercut animation. That will stop you from sailing past everyone. Only hold forward if the enemies are further back, otherwise don't do it. Mastering this ability has led to so many multi-kills. I could do a whole video that's just a Consecration montage. I did like a mini Consecration, like mini-tage a couple weeks ago with this thing. I'm telling you, other subclasses have to do a bunch of build crafting to get ignitions like this in PvP. But if you master this ability, it will always be in your tool belt when you need it, regardless of your build. I'm not using the artifact mod that makes ignitions bigger either. Those ignitions, they hurt you, and they frequently kill you. Trust me, in PvP, those choke points, they're so narrow, you don't need that mod. They're all getting tagged by it in those spaces anyways. If you get the ignition off, they're all going to get hit by it. May as well keep yourself alive in the process and avoid using that mod altogether. Let me show you my aspects and fragments real quick, as these tie into the Consecration ability as well. So I'm using Hammer Strike purely for the mobility. I'm not using it to attack people. I'm almost never using it to attack people. Maybe once every 5 matches I'll use it offensively, but I use it to get around. I'm using the Incendiary Grenade because I like being able to bank it off of walls and various shapes and structures around the map to tag people before I push them. It also makes me require fewer follow-up Scorch stacks in order to ignite them. I'm using Soul Invictus and Consecration for my aspects. And for the fragments, we've got Ember of Searing, Eruption, Ashes, and Char. Char is great, by the way, for those Consecration multi-kills because sometimes it will lead to even more ignitions. If an enemy doesn't die to the first ignition, right, I do my whole Consecration attack, and when I come down, one of those guys blows up. Big ignition. Let's say someone was far enough away that they didn't take enough damage from that ignition to die from it, but they had Scorch stacks on from one of my Consecration attacks. Then they get tagged by the ignition and more stacks of Scorch, and then they blow up as well. It's like a chain reaction. I love it. So the second main part of this build is my unapologetically, disgustingly meta exotic helmet. It's the Loreley Splendor. I've got Classy Restoration on too. I don't even care. I'm tired of having to fight raid bosses. So I decided this week I was going to become one too. And a lot of times I'm using that sunspot not only to heal me, but also to give me a burst of energy for my abilities that are cooling down as well. Because with this build, I'm throwing everything all the time. I'm not being conservative with my abilities. I'm using my Consecration every time a good opportunity presents itself. I'm tossing my Incendiary grenade to bank off of walls every chance I get. And my barricades, they're going away all the time with Loreley on. So that means if I get the chance to hop on a sunspot and get comfy for a second, I'm going to do it. Beyond that, my build is really pretty evenly dispersed. I'm not doing any double or triple 100s, nothing like that, okay? I want a little bit of everything. I'm running tier 9 resilience, 9 strength for obvious reasons. I've got 7 intellect, 5 discipline, 5 recovery. Those two things are already pretty well supported with Loreley giving me sunspots all the time anyways. So there you have it. That's me saying if you can't beat them, do what they're doing, except better. The hardest part about this approach is just learning the cadence and the application of your abilities, including Consecration. Also sniping. If you aren't great at sniping, it might take some practice to get used to it and dial your shot in. Otherwise, you can always roll with a long-range pulse like the Messenger. It's not an instant kill, but it'll slow him down for sure because it hits like a truck. Thanks for tuning in to the video today. Sorry again for the lack of streams lately. The house construction is in full swing, so it's a little chaotic around here. It's very loud, and I frequently have to step away to talk with the project manager or help with making decisions in real time. Also, it's the summer. My kids are home from school, so I'm trying to take advantage of that as well. If you enjoyed the video today, please feel free to leave a like on it and subscribe for additional Destiny 2 content. I'm working hard on my legendary sidearm tier list video as well, so expect that in the near future. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
Your legend grows. Triple down. You have advantage. Your enemy can't kill if they're dead. 2 for 1. This is beautiful. You continue to be my greatest success, Guardian.